So this is where we're going to cut for season, the
now
eventual
the next podcast is starting now.
Because I mean, is that our new thing now? It started with bad taste. You mentioned earlier.
Bad taste.
We used to talk about just the movies,
podcast,
and now it's around bad taste. We start talking about the genres and our experiences going into the movie.
Yeah.
And now we're having two-parters. Now we have two-parters straight up, where the first part is our context, and the second part is the movie.
Like I said, this is approximately like how many notes I have for like one episode or something for Action Toon Bros. So this is gonna be real fucking quick.
I surprisingly took a lot of pages of notes.
They start talking. It opens with a bunch of crazy shots of Seattle. Then it opens with them talking about, for some reason.
Real quick about that Seattle shot.
Really?
yes, because I'm me. Like,
Jesus Christ.
Because I'm curious. So this was like 2010s. I mean, you could argue that it's like
it's 2010 specifically. So it's like pretty much 2000.
But it's still based in that like 2000s era. Where opening shots during the opening scene that was a big thing in that era, right?
But just showing you where you were, but before even credits or anything, just like a bunch of random shots of the city.
Because I feel like that was also like that's modern, but also feels old.
It feels very old to me.
But it also feels modern.
I don't know, 15 years old ass fucking production trick.
Maybe I just don't watch enough TV shows. I don't watch
live action stuff like that, like sitcom stuff. I've not sat down and watched a sitcom.
Are there any good sitcoms that have come out?
I'm sure there's many. There's 1,000 on any Tyler Perry production.
I mean, they're that. See, I don't have access to a lot of that.
Meet the Browns and all those fucking dozen spin-offs.
That's been going on for a long ass time, though, has it not?
Yeah, probably like freaking as long as these shows have. I'm 100% certain.
I'm dating and racing myself when I say it. Like, I can't say I've not watched a
single goddamn thing like that shit. But yeah, what the hell? Okay, so yeah. Another tangent immediately on the screen.
Well, the opening lines are tangent. They go from a plant conversation.
No, that's like a weird like fucking like a stoner conversation practically about like I feel bad for weeds, and then she's like weeds are Carly says I feel bad for weeds, and then Sam's like weeds are just green losers, and then Freddy's like no, they're like homeless plants. I'm like what is this show? Are the writers watching this?
Well, they go from that into Spencer holding up a bunch of radios in a weird, awkward position.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what's going on here?
Very goofy setup. Then that whole dumb gag happens. I don't want to just go over gags because
see, that's all I feel like this episode was, though.
I mean, that's all this whole series. All these shows are just a bunch of random gags with a bunch of old bad canned laughter going over them. She mentioned we found out that Carly has a new fucking boyfriend, and their mom said and then like pretty much she's being really nice to everybody, which is a bit that doesn't stay past this one scene.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Why did they mention she had the boyfriend or no? She had a boyfriend because."
Nobody knew, even though it's been 3 fucking months.
Right. They're talking about, apparently, the most obvious thing, 100-day kiss.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we aged ourselves on this.
No, it's not. Thing? No, absolutely not. That's weird as shit.
Young people could tell us if we're wrong, but...
Young people? This aired 15 years ago, Ed.
People graduating high school could tell us.
Yeah, sure. If you watched this when you were 1, or if you watched this when you were 3 years old and now you're graduating high school.
Well, I guess if you... we could... Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I will credit this though. So we see Spencer in this awkward position holding up the radios, and at one point they eventually say, "Why are you holding up those radios?" He's like, "Oh, I glued them, so I'm holding them until it dries." And I will say that the payoff was not where I expected, which that quote is itself my wife said before I could write it down.
Yeah.
So I will probably do my best to give credit to when she said something before I wrote it down, so she gets credit for it. I did write something that I now know being older. So knowing about how actors, whenever they eat or drink something, they have
every
to.
Time.
Right, every take has to match the very first one.
Yeah.
So Carly is making lemonade or what did they say, limonade or something?
Yeah.
Limon. Which is weird.
Yeah.
But Freddie's mom shows up for her, cameo and gets handed a glass of lemonade. She did not drink said lemonade.
She barely put it to her mouth and put it down. I thought it was just because she doesn't like Carly.
See, I think it was
maybe because she didn't want to drink
that was a seasoned actress who knew the second she takes a drink in that very first shot, she's taking a drink all 12 dozen plus, 100 times, and is now going to be bloated off of lemonade.
Yeah.
So that was a seasoned actress move right there.
Then the scene kind of just ends, and then they go to this class.
Well, you mentioned the fact that potato radio, because he was holding potato. How random.
Yeah, very random humor.
Also, he eventually drops, he's like, oh, I think it's dried, and drops it. And it's like, oh, I've been holding this for 3 hours. Which is actually, to be fair, is actually important to this episode. That he sat in this weird position for 3 hours.
Yeah, you're right, actually.
And it fell in his sculpture from all these radios he found in the dump, because he used, which I think was only used because they wanted the words to get put out there together, ball joint lube.
Yeah, ball joint lube.
Also, was it Freddie had to stay with Carly because Aunt Susan had a rash?
Yeah, Freddie's aunt was having a rash, so his mom was going out of town.
So
I don't know, it's just to justify him being able to fly to LA later for no fucking reason.
Probably. Also,
or drive to LA.
Aunt Susan has a rash. That sounds like a real private area condition. So it sounds like something that should be sexual.
Because then he's just like, oh no, it's spreading to her thighs. I need to get some ointments.
Yeah,
and
that's something that's the Aunt Susan has a rash. Oh, it's spread to her thighs. That sounds like an actual someone.
I'm sure it's supposed to be like
that sounds like Freddie's mom has a condition. Is using Aunt Susan.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
as excuse.
Very weird.
So, also this episode aged itself, because we cut to the intro scene, which is a weird mashup of them.
It's a mashup of both of their shows. Yeah. A bunch of shitty, like what's it called? What are they called? The media player apps from back in the day.
On the Pearphone?
Yeah, like fucking, yeah, of course.
Which was weird. Anything. But Ariana Grande's credit was not until after the main credit sequence. That aged it.
Yeah, she didn't even have any speaking roles pretty much almost in this whole episode.
We'll get into that.
Oh, yeah.
We will get into that. But yeah, the fact that Ariana Grande did not get credited until after the opening credits. Gibby got a main credit sequence. Ariana Grande had her name thrown up after the credits, and the next scene had started and was already going on. Mm-hmm. She was an afterthought.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's very bizarre how everything was handled with this.
Yeah. Also, that weird silence is in the scene where Carly and her boyfriend talk. I'm just throwing that out now. So
you mean this next time at the school, and he's like showing up at the school to meet her there for some reason?
Yeah, there's a weird silences in that, because they had all this previous stuff, and there's weird silence in these scenes, and this is where it's like, this is weird. I don't like it.
The weird teacher is just like, hey, what are you doing in here? You're not in my class. And he's like, oh, he's homeschooled. Really? Yeah, his parents love each other, but they're divorced or something. It was like a whole long, weird, bizarre, drawn-out bit about his parents and why he's homeschooled. And he goes to L.A. to visit his other family there. And then they made a bunch of gags about the 100-day kiss and shit, and him being like, that's not real.
Okay, I have my question for this. What kind of teacher talks about their students' love life?
This weird creep. Besides, the other one. Sickowitz is great. That makes sense with his goofy ass.
Honestly, this scene was so generic and bland. My notes about it, I literally paused to see, because it's like a history class. Yeah. And I wanted to see what was on the board.
Yeah.
The only fun thing to point out was that Burke hails Hamilton, which in 2025, Alexander Hamilton, it's all I'll play. Also, it points out that Ohio joined the Union in 1802, which I will also point out the fact that despite its current standings in the political climate, Ohio had more soldiers fight for the North in the Union in the Civil War than any other state. Mm-hmm. So yes, Ohio is a true patriotic state, despite what we have become, and I'm just throwing that out there. Fuck you, Trump. Also, there was a poster in the hallway.
Yeah.
And it said "mob," and based on what I could get, I swear to God, MOB acronym stands for Mothers of Bullies.
It said that? Probably, yes. I wouldn't be surprised. That makes sense, honestly.
And I want to know about this because it's saying that these are mothers whose parents are bullies, and they're actively combating it, or are they proud of that?
I assume they're proud of it.
Or did I misread it and it said mothers of bullied, and it was still anti-bully thing, but in the sense that these are the parents whose kids had bullied experiences that changed them, and they wanted to make sure that didn't happen.
I don't know. Either
That's how generic this fucking scene was.
You're looking for background information on the posters? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
After that, we finally cut to the Victoria squad at their typical outdoor diner food thing. Tori, find out that's when we see Tori's dating the same weird asshole. He's just like,
who, again, as I said, looked like a main character.
Yeah, he was a very generic white guy from the aughts. So,
yes.
This way, after we see them at the house, we see Trina being weird, and then we cut to the gang at the actual diner or whatever, or the outside the school thing. And that's when we find out that Andre's uncle, the real estate agent, not the creepy one, sold a house to Kenan Thompson, and Kenan said, "Yeah, you can throw a small party while I'm out of town," which is an insane setup.
Which this was his, as I recalled, he sold his house and bought a new one, right? And the house that they were in was his brand new house.
Yep.
He had just bought this house.
Yeah.
That makes even less sense then, because
it
looks like a house that was lived in.
It doesn't look like a lived-in house. It looks like a weird studio or something.
It really did. I mean, it literally had an arcade game.
Yeah.
It looked like someone had been living there for a while. And also too, the fact that Kenan later mentions when you see him eventually. Spoiler alerts. He mentions a party is less. Anything less than 500 people is a small party.
Yeah.
That house looks like it was built for Kenan Thompson parties. But he just moved into this house? I don't buy that. I don't buy that he's not lived in this house properly.
It's very weird.
Because they're also, again, the panda would theoretically have known if he was already living in this house that, by the way, has multiple images of his face.
It had a big old thing of his name on it too,
yes.
Even spelled out randomly.
Literally, there was that Andy Warhol that there's that 4 images of weird variation colors. There's a picture of that, but of Kenan's face in this house that he just bought but isn't moving into, because he's on Saturday Night Live in this episode, and he's mentioned as being a part of Saturday Night Live, basically. And he is straight up, isn't he?
No, they just mentioned Saturday. He's working because, of course, he's busy Saturday nights or something like that.
Yes, I mean, they mention it without maybe mentioning it. But so he's clearly in New York, yet has a house in L.A.
I mean, that's not crazy.
Is this party eccentric?
That's not a crazy thing. Except for
how long
actors in there being
okay. I need to look this up though, real quick.
He's been in Saturday Night for decades, I'm sure.
Saturday night.
While you Google that, I'm gonna say that the next scene is that the Robbie takes a picture of the boyfriend and Tori. And she's like, "Hey, just take my picture. Why'd you do that?" As a real psycho move, which Tori should be concerned about already. He says, "Oh, sorry, I had it automatically uploaded to the internet, so now your picture's on the internet, buddy. Sorry about that."
Holy shit! 2003.
Yeah.
So this came out. So we've been a cast member for 7 years. Okay, that makes a little more sense. I will take back that. Also, I did real quick just jump point and say that when they mentioned Kenan Thompson, my joke was that it's they mentioned the star Kenan Thompson, and I was like, oh yeah, Kenan Thompson from that hit Nickelodeon show Kenan and Kel.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought that they would have. I feel like they should have.
Mentioned Kenan and Kel.
It would have been funny if they had done that, and they I could get that's a branding. But tell me, how funny would it have been if he's like, "Yeah, I'm Kenan Thompson, Saturday night," and they're like, "I don't know what you're talking about." But if they mentioned Cal Menchel, "Oh, orange soda, right?" And he would be like, "That's the okay, that should have been. That would have been funny."
Remember, back to the Nickelodeon sitcom universe, the bit in the Game Shakers bit where
never seen Game Shakers.
No, it was a bit on Quentin Review's thing where it showed the kids were watching iCarly despite it being in the same universe, which doesn't make any sense. They're watching an episode of iCarly, a marathon Nickelodeon was running of iCarly. And Kel's son in that show, it's like, "Oh, I love this show." And then he's like, "It's the funniest." And then Kel was watching it with him. He's like, "Oh, it's like Kenan and Kel, but not as funny."
I forgot about that one.
It's a really good bit.
That's a good joke, and that's what they should have done with this.
Honestly, I was gonna say you were pointing out how good Kenan was in the song. I would bet that that bit with it's like Kenan and Kel, not as funny, and his bit, anything that Kenan was doing that was really funny, was probably an actual improv thing that Kenan came up with, because he is a professional improv actor and they're both like very funny, and that's why like those lines stand out because they're actual comedians, not reading Nickelodeon or Bakery produced or written like gags or jokes. Yeah,
especially
bad jokes. They're like actual improv. Oh, that's really good. We should have had that added in the thing about that.
And I'll say this too because I know again without mentioning names on it, like on one hand I do hate to say it, but I do acknowledge that the fact that he came from that world does make sense, and I hate to say this too, I think that his knowledge of it was part of why I think we enjoyed Kenan and Kel, because he understood it. But I think it's kind of ironically how Scream, like, because you think about Scream and how that and those movies changed horror, like when this came out, we've seen the tropes for so many years. Like, it was probably 15 years of Nickelodeon tropes. So some of these jokes were probably, if they were in Kenan and Kel, and they probably were hysterical back then.
I feel like just like, based on my own nostalgic memory, I feel like there was probably more improv from Kenan and Kel and the father and everybody, more so than in these shows. Oh, because I don't think these are comedians. These are like actors. I mean, hired because they're attractive looking.
Exactly.
As opposed to back then where they were like, everyone on all that was like an interesting looking, goofy looking. They were there because they were funny and they were comedians first and foremost.
I think
that's probably why there was a lot of probably
and I say this
nostalgic 40-year-old men brain.
Right. And I say this again too with love, but like Lori Beth Denberg is someone who I think, and the fact that probably the only thing I can think of her outside of all that is Dodgeball. She's the cheerleader.
She was in Workaholics where she was playing herself. And she made a bunch of really funny jokes when she was like getting high and drinking in the bathtub. That references to like her bits on all that with the crew. It was very funny.
That makes me happy.
She's really fantastic.
And I do love those guys. And I think that they just sit in that It's Always Sunny Philadelphia era of writers and things where like just they are, because people talk about comedy and we talked about this in our Roadhouse episode, but like
Roadhouse
road trip episode, like with comedy, but like there is something to be said, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I even see it for Workaholics, the episodes I've watched, like those are bad people doing bad things and bad characters, but you don't root for them to succeed, but you root to keep seeing them because they are
funny.
They're funny, and even though they cross lines that others can't, like you can enjoy it. So I'm glad to hear that, and I actually want to watch that show even more now. But like Lori Beth Denberg is not a person who would have been cast in iCarly or Victorious.
Yeah, besides some kind of like mean bit or something.
Exactly, and I think that's a shame because I think that she is funny.
Yeah,
she was hysterical. Like vital information for your everyday life. Like straight up, Danny Tamborelli's fantastic. He was incredible. Lori Beth picked up that same energy and matched it. Like the two of them are genuinely just as good as each other, and there's no better. And she was also on Figure Out, if I recall, too, a lot. Yeah. I know Dandy was always almost always on it, but she was on it a good chunk too. And I say all that because I agree that yes, I think that actual comedians getting a chance to spread comedy chops and also clearly have the ability to do something like that and the comfort to do it shine through in this episode because Kenan's moments were hysterical. Oh yeah, like that is where the episode, honestly, like my memories on most of it do come from Kenan's appearance onward. Mm-hmm. So, also real quick, I'll say like, the boyfriend teleported damn near, right? Was I writing and I just didn't notice him walk up? There's no real
scale up. Actually, I feel like it probably was like the next day because it feels like it was like there were 100 kisses coming up, and then they're in Seattle, which I'm pretty we could easily probably research and find out the actual like driving distance, probably a couple of hours. But he went from Seattle to LA in like AC. Actually, no, he was like talking to Carly. And then, he's with Tori watching video footage of what I would assume would be like the day of Carly episode with her and with his other girlfriend.
Yeah, that was weird.
No time makes any sense in this, but we're literally at like scene 2.
Also, we've
got to make progress.
How is this man apparently like Carly has been dating him for 3 months. Nobody knows. She has a web show and hasn't even mentioned or had shown anything for 3 months.
Nope.
And also, no one had met this man for 3 months. but apparently everyone knows him, and also there's been no pictures of him.
Nope.
How that? Like, listen, I'm
you're
gonna point out this
inside.
plot hole because it's weird.
Yeah.
But I will say, when we cut to, as we're about to cut to the Carly thing, I saw, and maybe this is my male nostalgia brain thinking about it, but, and my wife's gonna yell and correct me if I'm wrong, but a 90s teen girl alert feels like a girl having her name with her boyfriend's last name like multiple times in multiple areas.
That feels like a thing we've heard joked about by likely male writers in the aughts.
In a weird way, though, I feel like I have seen my past girlfriends do that before.
I'm sure, yeah. It does sound like something that possibly is based on reality. Also, we missed a little gag during that scene about how abusive Sam's mom is. Hilarious.
Oh, how funny. Abuse. Maternal abuse.
Yeah, very, very good. And then, the font thing with the seeing your name in different fonts is weird. And then finally, they randomly Google the guy for... Oh,
They said, was Steven something? It was like,
his last name, Carlson or something?
Yeah. Is that an actor? Oh, Google it.
Yeah,
or search it. They did Google.
Then randomly the tweet from Robbie and his urban robot Rex... his urban puppet Rex.
Yeah. Well, was it Rex or Robbie that posted it?
Rex. Well, actually, no, I think it was Robbie who posted that.
So that
and then
makes
the
me
party was about from Rex's Twitter.
Right, but then that makes me curious and very confused because Rex later on mentions that Robbie has 13 followers. So if you search this name, the SEO is going to give you
it definitely
a
should
13
give Rex's
follower
thing no.
account picture that just got posted from on some random school website.
Rex's apparently is much bigger, so maybe it was Rex's who posted that.
I mean, we can go back and check, but I don't feel like worrying.
No, that's too much. That's too much effort.
Which Rex is confusing as it is.
As a being.
Yes.
I mean, when you get to the metaverse, it's even more confusing.
Yes. The only other things I had from this scene, and I'll let you explain it more, is when he says, well, actually I had three things really quick. One, Sam says to man up to Freddy while holding balls. I feel like that was not unintentional. Researching her, that's masturbation, right?
Of course, probably.
Like, gross.
Yeah, you just want to look up her so you can stare at her face or whatever the hell she said. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of weird moments, and then also too, and I made mention of it more than once. There is a giant ass gummy bear on that counter.
Oh yeah. I think it's there for like most of the production.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know if this episode. Because,
I think it's there like often. I think on the show.
Okay, because later on, Gibby mentions yellow foods, and that yellow gummy bear is right behind him in that same shot.
Yeah, that whole bit is very weird and funny.
That's all I got for this scene.
Yeah, they also mentioned Shelby Marks, who Victoria Justice played, and like a teen MMA fighter on iCarly before Victoria was picked up as a show.
Did not know that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I couldn't cover it in this thing real quick, but yeah, it was like a whole episode about.
Wasn't that the one that I thought that was another one where they're like, oh, that she's a fighter and someone's gonna fight her, and then it was gonna be like whatever, and then she got like mad. That was that was
iCarly, and that was played by Victoria Justice. She played a different character on it earlier.
Who was the person that they were gonna have beat her up?
Carly was gonna have like a fake fight with her for the internet, but then like the evil guy, her like evil rival or whatever, edited a video to make it look like she was talking about her.
Yeah, that weird kid.
And then she was gonna beat her. Yeah.
Sexual assault because it's funny. Cause he's also a child. Okay.
Yeah. That dude who appears way later as Sam and Cat even, and also he does make another appearance in the reboot series. He's back again, but Shelby Marks reference, and then finally they are all creeping on Tori, including Spencer, which is great for that. And he says, "I need somebody to rub oil on my back," and they'll say, "Or no," and then Gibby's like, "Okay, I'll call Gibby," and Gibby will do it. And then we got to find Sikowitz's class. I'm like, yeah, Sikowitz, he's the best. He's a weird, goof, crazy person.
Was he not wearing shoes?
I mean, probably not.
Okay, I'm not crazy that I.
He wouldn't be. He's a fucking freak, and that's why he's a funny character. And then we finally meet Ariana Grande in this fucking movie, who's not able to talk for some fucking reason.
What the fuck has this? Yeah, she had an injury to her throat or vocal
And
nodules.
she had like polyps or something like that.
Yeah. Of course, there's a big fake out. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. This was written in this river. The traffic must have been terrible.
Yeah, a very random bit.
But then there's also him saying, because Tori and Beck, his name was.
Yeah,
couldn't scream in the
yeah,
scene.
they're pretending to be afraid of a meteor, but like they couldn't convince her to be them that convincingly being scary.
Yeah, so like, well, Jesus Christ, he's like, I've had more realistic screams in the bathtub.
yeah, it's like what's being a freak.
Was that a foreshadowing to the jacuzzi stuff?
You know what? Honestly, it could have been. That'd be funny if the show was that clever, which I highly doubt. But back to the boring Carly class scene.
Well, you forgot about how because Psychowitz having to scare Tori and Beck is again running part of this episode.
Oh yeah, he's like, I'll teach you guys a real beer. And then they're like, what are you laughing about? Like that picture of ducks playing poker up there.
Was it ducks or dogs?
It was ducks.
It was dogs.
It showed a picture of a bunch of ducks.
I didn't look. I was trying to read writing. I heard him. He was running down his ominous laugh after he said, "Hoo-ha." So, but yeah, the fact that we need to take a second here. Why the fuck did they make Ariana Grande in this crossover episode be unable to talk?
I know. Not like
why her?
It's very bizarre. She's not big at this point. It's years before she's anything big. So it's a very bizarre choice.
But like, and maybe this is their attempt to, because I know like there's Quentin mentions that she has like very few roles a lot in the show for doing that kind of stuff. But like in the end scene when they're all singing, her voice genuinely, whether they intentional or not, it stands out.
Yeah, it's the best. Which is ironic. I don't know if that's ironic or not because it's not something you don't see coming.
But I mean,
Quentin, we're gonna keep constantly bringing him up every 10 seconds. But like he mentions that she's like objectively the best. Besides her just being the most popular person on the planet now at this point.
Yeah,
she's a really good singer.
I say she's a decent 3 or 4, and I only say that because. Oh God, I can't think of the name, and I'm gonna get in trouble now. Taylor Swift. Yeah. Taylor Swift is probably number 1.
Of course, yeah, but she's like one of the most popular.
We already know who number 2 is, but fuck him.
Yeah, like one of the most popular singers on the planet. And like, so it's weird bizarre because this show, it's made to promote Tori's singing and stuff, but also the plot of the actual episode doesn't have anything to do with singing for the most part.
It really
so having
doesn't.
her being not able to talk is such a bizarre choice that I have no idea why that would be the case. It doesn't make any sense.
It was so upsetting because it felt like
needless. It felt like purposeful, but like because they also Quentin jokes about like. Oh yeah, they always try to find ways to not have her sing because if these characters ever had to sing against each other, like it'd be no clue who would win because both Liz Gillies, who plays Jade, and Ariana Grande are both like world class professional singers. But the show's like talking about how good Tori is at everything, so.
Which they did a lot. Yeah. They were like, oh look,
everyone thinks she's like so hot. And everyone's talking about how hot she is, and it's very bizarre. It's very weird. It's just the whole thing about the show is like how much people are obsessed with her, which is very weird.
Yeah, it was just. Like, if this was a random, normal episode of Victorious, I could see that. This is the crossover, which is supposed to have, like... Because even, too, if you think about it, it makes zero sense in context of the show. Because the show had what, at this point, at least a season or 2, right?
This is the second season of Victoria. Wait, I wrote my notes. This would be between season 2, episode 5.
Yeah, so, like, it's confusing because Kat was already on that slope of becoming, like, the ditzy goofball who said silly things.
Yeah, she's already a goofy weirdo.
Right, so, like, even if you took away the singing aspect, because you could just not have her sing, but like her whole gimmick was saying over like off the stuff weird cuff things.
Unable to sing, she was still like actually I wanted to talk about Ariana Grande too at the beginning of this episode because like with all the other stuff we were talking about, we just kind of rushed to get this thing started, but now fuck that, we're gonna keep talking about other stuff. I was never a fan of Ariana Grande before. I didn't really care about her music particularly. I didn't really watch anything she acted in, obviously, because I never watched this show. I'm
assuming Wicked.
What?
Wicked?
I mean, obviously, since then. But I was saying since then, I've listened to some of her music, but also like the issue with the weird thing with this fucking show is that she is unlike a lot of the people we were just talking about seconds ago or a couple minutes ago about like comedian actors versus like regular actors. Ariana Grande is actually a comedian. She is incredibly funny. She's incredibly good at impressions. She is genuinely really, really funny. And like I've never had any appreciation for her for like, the decade she's been popular or whatever. But her SNL thing where she actually does like a bunch of different impressions, and she's actually like if you talk to anybody who like background stuff, like her and Liz Gillies are actual friends, like Quinn talks about. She's also like she does like an impressionist. She does like doing stuff like that. So, and also if you've seen Wicked, she's incredibly fucking funny.
Not
you not
much
seen it
yet? No.
She's really fucking funny. But like, yeah, her SNL bit, she's incredibly hilarious when she's actually acting. Yeah.
I mean,
you can't really tell in this show because like she's not giving much to do and she's downplayed a lot. But like, she's an actual funny actress, and taking the time to actually listen to her music is incredibly fucking good too.
Oh yeah, I knew her from her music.
Yeah.
I knew she had acted, but like I couldn't have told you what she had acted in. But I knew her music, and like again, I knew Frankie from Big Brother.
Yeah.
And he was the brother of Ariana Grande, so like I knew the musician Ariana Grande. I really didn't know about the actress Ariana Grande. We started hearing Ariana Grande songs everywhere. That is okay. So my wife pointed out that we started because we were watching Big Brother. We started hearing Ariana Grande. I started hearing Ariana Grande songs like continuously at that time, and that's how it connected in my brain. So she said that from the other room. That's where that random moment of silence is. You might have left in. You might not have left
Who
it
knows?
in.
I'm sure it picked up.
Did you edit that or
What?
no? Did you edit that? Hey, future Matt, are you editing this right now?
Hey man, if you listen to the last episode of Action Toon Bros, you do know I do. If someone offhandedly mentions a dumb gag, I sometimes do edit stuff in there.
So no Chinese?
Yeah, exactly. Check out these news.
How did that? Okay, can we take a second? How the fuck did that derail that? Like, why would they leave that in? How did nobody see that and say, yeah, let's take this out? They said, no, let's leave that in.
Yeah, who knows? But we have got to get past scene 3 of this movie. Ariana Grande is surprisingly wonderful.
Did we mention that the boyfriend is cheating on Carly with
Yeah,
Tori?
we saw that it's the same guy, and he was freaked out when he got his picture taken by Robbie like a psycho.
That gets
Which
found
should have been a red
out.
flag.
Movie over. There you go. We're done talking about this episode, right?
I wish. That'd be hilarious. Oh yeah, colon P scene with the fucking boring teacher. Boring Carly class, and then he's like, "You two are texting in my class. Come up here and read all your texts out loud," which is like the most insane thing on the planet.
And of course, it's plot relevant.
Yeah, she's saying your boyfriend's cheating on you, and then Carly says, "No, I love him," and then he's just like, "Haha," and then she's like, then I wrote colon P, and like that's tongue out. And he's like, I know about colon P. And then everyone laughs and Jimmy falls out of his chair.
I'll give credit. That gave very Tobias Funke vibes.
Yeah. I feel like the teacher looks very familiar. I feel like I know him from something, but I can't quite pin it. Everyone knows the next day, like, Andre's walking around the school and everyone knows about the party.
Oh, yeah. He had a moment where I swear to God, I thought he was going to go, here it goes.
Oh, no, that'd be hilarious.
He had the physicality to build up. Like, he had the but he didn't do it. And I was like, it was like.
You don't want to steal kills, but that'd be weird.
But still, I
yeah.
mean, it was like, okay, I'm not going to use that phrase, but it was like watching, you're watching a Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then at the word Antissa, they just stop the movie. You're waiting for that patient.
Yeah, the patient.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
And we didn't get it. So that's where I got that from.
Rex tweeted about the party, and then like he's like Andre's pissed at him, saying he's like, Robbie, you're insane. Next thing is the Spencer book club bit, where they make fun of Spencer for having a book club and book club's not being manly for some reason.
That was another moment. That was a moment that I will admittedly say I could understand to an extent. The not current year of 2025, yeah, I could see where they thought that was hysterical. But at the same time, I don't understand why it was not manly. I mean, it was queer coded, right? They wanted to be, how gay is this?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's genuine. I'm saying that was, because that was, growing up, like that was the phrase you heard all the time.
Yeah.
It's not a right thing to say, but that was what we all said.
I was earlier in this episode you called Kanye a gay fish, so.
Well, he likes fish sticks.
Of course, fish sticks.
But like, it's like he's reading and analyzing a book, and what they were because here's the joke that I don't get about this whole, it's not manly to be in a book club thing. You're reading and discussing a book, and we literally did that in English class. Yeah. Kind of stuff. Hell, that's what podcasts are. That's what their whole internet thing was. It was actually okay.
There were things just being random, but I guess, but also in any other context, it would be that he was in this book club with all these women to get laid would be the normal conclusion. But for some reason, it's just a gag about that being unmanly, which does not make sense. But
doesn't Spencer in the show? I mean, literally in this episode,
just like all male characters who aren't in a committed relationship, and every other episode, he has a random hot girlfriend and
ex-girlfriend,
or ex-girlfriend or a current girlfriend that's only going to be around for that one episode and never seen again. So it was just a very non sequitur bit that made no sense.
Right, and also too, I'll throw this out there because at some point I thought about this in the last, I don't know when. So actually no, I thought about doing this movie, and I thought, no, I will not subject Matt to the pain of this, and also too because we won't have the same enjoyment of the entire class getting mad at us. We're talking about how Chris McCandless was an idiot.
What a dumb shit.
His death was entirely his fault. Yes, death is tragic,
of course,
but this was a guy.
So is every death in the Darwin Awards. This man thought he'd swallow 10,000 thumbtacks, and then guess what? He died.
Right.
And we're supposed to be like, oh my God,
How tragic is it that this person who went into a cold environment without any warm clothes died frozen in a bus? And that's not heroic.
Yeah,
that's not
dumb.
Because, as we also learned, that, while that dude is also apparently a dick, the Last American Man book talks about how dude who truly lived off the land, to the point where he lived out of a teepee and went to college and even gave a student lecture about how to skin a raccoon that he caught on his way walking into class. That is a man who, if his death happened, you knew something tragic truly happened.
Or Grizzly Man, if you want to fucking be in tears, watch that documentary.
But Chris McCandless was just some rich kid who wanted to feel exotic and be on Survivor without being on Survivor, and thought that it was, cool to go into the Arctic without boots and gloves and hat and a coat. That's the one that you need, a coat.
Yeah, coat.
But boots. No, he was like...
And how the hell did we get on this subject?
Because... I don't remember. Oh, books! Analyzing books. We analyzed that book, and we took the non-analytical, a stance of this guy was not his death, while itself is tragic, was not his own undoing, and the entire class was like, "You guys are." Remember, it was a question and answer, and everyone's question was, "Okay, so how could you be so wrong about your take?" Yeah. Or I don't think you guys truly understood why it was bad that he died. And and even the teacher was like, you're not asking questions. You're just putting your own opinions into their analysis. That was that's more entertaining than what this episode. Because this episode was just fluff and filler. But also, this analysis was brought to you by a book. Which, guess what? Book clubs, men and women, can all talk about.
Of course.
And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, modern year, 2004.
Modern year, 2025. But why? Okay, even if it's the old school, why is it not manly to be in a book club with a bunch of women? Even if they didn't play up the joke of a guy going to get laid,
I was gonna say there was a bit in the first season of Victorious that was all the guys signing up for a ballet class to meet girls, and then when they get there, the entire class is just guys who signed up for the ballet class to meet girls. That's what this bit should have been. I mean, but it was just dumb. It was a weird dumb gag about.
I'm gonna say South Park did it with Kenny joined home ec because he was around a bunch of women.
Yeah,
and even the teacher was like, Kenny, you're a guy. Why are you in this home ec class? And of course, whatever. But
the Victorious in season 1 actually smartly and funnily subverted the bit, being like, yeah, all these guys are that stupid and would be doing something like this for that reason. This is just him being in a fucking... Also, we spent like fucking 10 minutes on this dumb bit that like none of those actresses have a single spoken line, and then they just leave the scene and it's over. And we've been on this for like an hour, dude. We are at 2 hours and 50 minutes. We have got to get to the next scene. They haven't even gotten to LA or to the party where they were putting the fucking ghoul makeup yet. we have 1,000 scenes to go, dude.
We do.
This episode's gonna be 5 hours long, just like Monster Hunter.
Monster
Hunter.
Meow.
Yeah.
It's the end credits of Monster Hunter fighting the
God.
Gormagala.
Yeah. This is good.
That's our Freddy Got Fingered reference.
Yeah, to the
Monster
last
Hunter.
movie, to the Monster Hunter movie.
Oh boy! I mean, do you know what my notes are for the rest of this? Like the next scene, Cannibal Frankie, Cat Brother is evil. Is Rex sentient?
Cannibal Frankie.
The black guy has beautiful skin.
Yeah, he has beautiful skin.
And also, Gibby had an awesome Hawaiian shirt. Those are the next 4 notes I made.
Ariana, my literal. I'm gonna read my direct notes. Spencer Book Club. Why laugh about this? Ariana Grande robot voice. Her cannibal brother reference. Rex being weird about Andre's skin. Gibby rubbing down Spencer. More awkward mom jokes from Sam about her mom being abusive. Urban puppet. Then they'll go all the way to LA to catch the boyfriend. Hasselhoff hamburger joke. Andre's uncle. Tori is weird. Rex is a creep to Tori. This makeup scene was weird and gross. Gibby gets no makeup. Drake and Josh hat. Panda swatted people on the butt.
All right, hold on. Because
if you want an insight into how my notes look and work,
so like at this point I wrote like for a crossover episode, there's very little crossover between the characters in scene.
They're completely separate in separate cities for like
exactly. Like it wasn't even like Sam ran into them or Freddy was next to them or whatever, something crazy like that. I did make the Sam Broken family joke for laughs. I literally wrote urban puppet. I don't even know what this is a reference to. The famous Kenan Thompson line.
The famous Kenan Thompson? This is his house? Yeah.
Oh, that must have been what it was.
Yeah, probably one of those lines.
Also, I wrote that this child, Gibby, with lotion on the adult was yelling right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, also he mentions that Gibby, this child, has the hands of a goddess.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, very bizarre. This whole movie's bizarre.
And this is where I wrote that the no yellow foods bit from Gibby had the yellow gummy bear in the background.
Yeah, and then they're yellow foods in the
also, the Spencer ex machina of this, like, I have an ex-girlfriend who does makeup in L.A. Yeah. Like, that is truly an ex machina moment.
Yes, out of fucking nowhere.
Also, they mentioned Lane. Who the fuck was Lane?
Lane Alexander's their guidance counselor, the black teacher who they have, the one that shows up with the kids at the end.
I feel like that was not proper. Okay,
he's lower than Tebow level character. He's only in like 1 in every 5 episodes. He'll show up. He's barely
it wasn't weird for.
But they never referred to him except they only referred to him in this episode. Like by that name, but they never in a scene where he's there refer to him as Lane Alexander. They just assume he's Lane Alexander, the teacher.
Okay, so that was
it's very confusing though.
Context I was missing.
But that's the what's the name? Trina is babysitting those kids.
Yeah, because I wrote they wrote something about before I wrote Tori's sister, Bad Luck Queen. I wrote down because I thought it was kind of funny. MacGruber the musical.
Yeah, that's funny.
Don't they have? Wait, there was such.
MacGruber is the spoof from Saturday Night Live. With Will Forte.
And if I'm mistaken, and
it was a movie. They made a movie.
Die Hard is the villain is MacGruber, right? MacGruber is the name of Alan Rickman's character in Die Hard.
It might be, yeah, but I think it's more likely a Saturday Night Live reference because Will Forte and Kenan Thompson definitely work together.
Okay, because initially I thought I heard MacGruber and I thought of MacGyver. But
MacGruber is a direct spoof of MacGyver. That's why you know.
Okay.
What were you thinking?
Okay, so Bob's Burgers, the teacher keeps trying to do musicals, and he does a Die Hard musical. I think he does like 1 or 2 other ones. It was like they wanted to do Die Hard, and then they wanted to do like some like more like feminist one, and then they bring them like mix them together into whatever. So I think that's where I'm thinking of because Gene dresses as I think MacGruber.
I would say I just remembered myself that I remember something. It's Hans Gruber is
Yeah.
Alan Rickman's character, Hans Gruber, not
Also-
Mick Gruber, because Mick Gruber
yeah.
is Will Forte's character from Saturday Night Live, which
Okay.
is a spoof of MacGyver.
Okay, then we're okay.
Hey man, our brains are fried. This
Though
is hour
also,
3 of
to
the
be fair,
podcast. This is usually when we get a little loopy.
There's also theoretically a connection to Andy Samberg, who in Brooklyn Nine-Nine is his character Jake Peralta is a huge Die Hard fan, and of course Hans Gruber from Die Hard.
Yeah.
So I think there's lots of connected tissues. Also, I ranked this higher than I feel like I probably could have and or should have, but I feel like at the same point, like this is like.
I put mine in a very specific place for a very specific reason, because what it's sandwiched between is like, we'll get it like specifically, because
Yeah.
I have very specific reasons why I placed it where I placed it.
Like I feel like the problems with this more often than like this is just a.
I mean, honestly,
fine.
this is a perfectly fine. I have no problems with this movie.
This
I wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was definitely not as funny as Quentin Reviews makes everything. So
Yeah, I mean, this is very, and I'm sure I've used this term on the podcast before. It's very Andy Dalton, almost. Like, this is almost like my
you literally went on a rant about
this
Andy
is-
Dalton
this is
before
almost kind of
on this
like-
podcast.
This is almost my new Andy Dalton moment here, or Andy Dalton film.
Oh yeah, So at the party, this is the Drake and Josh hat. Metaverse.
Oh yeah,
reference.
he mentions Spencer's. He's like, we broke up 6 years ago, and it's like he also broke my leg. It's like apparently he ran over his girlfriend. Like, you ran over your girlfriend? You know, I thought he was someone else. Like he says, like it happened twice.
Yeah.
Insert.
Phineas and Ferb. What's it called? Reference.
Oh yeah. Also, randomly, because I didn't think apparently where I put this, but in the middle of it, I had to go a page because here's my notes from stuff about. These are my notes from the episode that we listened to for our third parter, where Christian Ben's commentary gets added in. That how he totally listened to the whole thing and then responded to
you can
it.
tell from our responses.
And I didn't just take notes about it in my notebook and then make enough notices.
That episode should be airing about a little bit after we record this, but like I said, this episode's going to air months from now. So
I'm on 81 of my White Two Kaizo. I'll probably be either I've beaten it or I'm on run like 97 of it.
Hey man, 5 years of podcasting. We're only 20 episodes in.
I still haven't beaten that game.
Panda sliding people on the butt. Trina has kids on a leash.
That's right.
Andre keeps getting spanked by people every other scene, and then finally a real fun Sikowitz jump scare, jumps out of the fucking wall and screams at them.
We were a lot. There's a lot of things that happened
Oh
here.
yeah, there's a lot of bits that I'm covering over real quick because
I had a lot of notes for this whole scene.
All right, what happened? I'll shoot through my bullet points and what's your responses to those bits and scenes and weirdness?
Well, so we're at the Spencer's ex-girlfriend in his makeup.
You're right. Yeah. I was trying to figure out how this was.
They mentioned Urban Puppet here too.
Did they again?
I think so because I wrote it down here and I thought I hadn't written it down. Okay, I don't remember what the hell happened when it made me write this. Because, they do cut back to Victorious at some point, and that's where I think the Urban Puppet was.
I think they're...
That or I made reference because, Quentin Reviews pointed out the whole Rex is actually like interviewing people and is super uncomfortable.
Because he's like a weird perv. Yeah.
He's very much
to these
goofy.
teenagers.
But also, I think I wrote because... At one point, Kat seemed like she was typing in real time, and I actually thought that was interesting. Also, Tori talks about their 100-day kiss, and they're going to go do it somewhere, often like with the side thing. And Rex is like, I want to watch. And it's like, I'll pay you $20 to watch.
Yeah, like a real
Which was weird, because these are technically
they're supposed to be teen kids.
Right. Also, I wrote this, racism from white people imitating black people. And again, that might be because I know that the voice of Rex was dubbed over.
Yeah, it was one of the white writers on the series.
Which definitely shines through later on.
Yeah, you can tell.
But no one told this man that he is not Eminem.
No, yeah. Oh, God.
Like, for all the stuff you can talk about Eminem, and that's, again, it's a whole other podcast. Eminem at least has the talent.
I literally make a reference
to
to 8 Mile later when the actual dumbass rap battle happens.
Oh,
we'll
God,
get there when we get there.
There's so many things we could get to and have our own podcast about.
Yeah.
This episode is both nothing and fluff, and then also has, like, scenes that I just wanted.
A thousand things are happening every scene, but like also nothing is happening. Like that's why I'm able to bullet point like 3-word bullet point, but they're just full of like nonsense because so much random crap is happening.
Yeah. We're gonna. How much do we want to go into the fucking makeup reveals of the main leads?
Oh yeah, I wrote
Carly?
the only line I had was this makeup scene was weird and gross, and then Gibby gets no makeup.
I wrote Freddie has awful Botox work look. Like,
yeah,
he looks like if the actor nowadays tried to make himself look like he did in season 1. A lot of but went to like a cheap plastic surgeon. And like certain actors and actresses who have work done almost look like John Travolta in Old Dogs.
when his face all swollen up or whatever.
Yeah, like they look rough.
Yeah.
Like, or John Travolta today.
Yeah.
Like they look like there are some people who's you can like they had too much work done and it's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But they talk in this scene as if they look great, right?
It's very confusing because later they say they look bad. So
yeah,
yes, it does not make any actual sense.
I said Sam looks like an extra for Wicked, but didn't green herself, and that was my reference to Tobias Funke.
I was gonna say Carly's got a big weird lip.
Yeah. Also, Regina Goodbody.
Yeah.
What was that name?
I mean, just another perv joke, I'm sure.
Patty Schwab was at least a good name for the. Was there an Asian code, or am I?
I don't think so.
Am I telling on myself?
Yeah, she put like a British accent on later.
She did, but there was a weird Asian undercurrent of this.
Who knows when the Miranda College growth?
It was a little rough. Patty Schwab at least fit that. At least that name wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
But Regina Goodbody. The Gibby's Roger Mole.
Yeah.
And then the Drake and Josh had, That was what I wrote down for this. I did also write, and because we go to the party in Kenan Thompson's house.
Yeah.
His house, quote unquote, but it was a
big studio. It was like a studio.
It looked like a club sound stage. Yeah. Literally, Andre grabs Robbie, and because Robbie's by the front of the stage, and they come away from the stage, and I was like, you're pulling in front of the set of the stage here.
You remember that bit, like, when Andre's like, hey, how come we never sit on that side of the table? Like, the side of the table where they're back and to the camera. And he's like, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. And
that was Sam and Cat. That was the clip episode.
No, that was from an episode of
Victorious?
I think they may have showed that. Oh, no, they pointed that out in Sam and Cat clip show too, but Andre mentioned it like in an actual normal episode.
Okay, because I remember that
Victoria's,
from Sam and Cat, where Goomer was like, "Well, how come I can't just sit in this right open seat?" And it's like, no one sits there. I remember that one. But yeah, okay. This fucking panda was both funny and also a waste, right?
Yeah.
Because we didn't get a reveal.
No, you never found out. Well, I mean, like, it's known who was in that dumb outfit. Like, actually.
Wait, what?
It's the actor for Tebow, because he didn't want to be excluded from an episode with Kenan Thompson on set, just like when he randomly showed up in the episode with Michelle Obama, because they're not gonna have the one black actor on this entire iCarly show be with the famous other black actor. So he wanted to be in the show, but they didn't have anything for him to do, so they just put him in that panda outfit and had him swatting everyone on the butt.
Okay.
So that's Tebow's actor in there. Now, yes, as we said when we were watching, you and Leanne had a good idea that it could have just been Cal Mitchell if they wanted to have him on the set, which would have been very funny.
That would have been hysterical. And that could have been...
Or reveal that those people would have been funny, too.
That would have also been funny. But, like, the reason I think of Cal Mitchell, because, especially now knowing how long it had been since, like, stuff had finished airing, Cal doing that would have been like... That'll take you for, like, even if it was just a joke, and
if they were on good terms, they may not have, like I said, they were separated for a while. They may not have been on good terms.
But see, here's the thing: if Tebow's actor was the one in the panda suit, Nickelodeon could have had the money and pull if they really wanted to have gotten Kel Mitchell for just to take off the panda head and say one line. If they really wanted to, they could easily do that. I guarantee it, because and I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't think Kel Mitchell was doing the biggest work. And the fact that he was even on the Sam and Cat and Henry Danger means that they still had some connection with him.
Yeah, he's still willing to come back for that stuff.
And here's my one line for if you paid Kel Mitchell for an end credit scene for the payoff of the panda suit, takes it off and he says, "You took my part," or "You took my role," or "That's what you get for having the," they made a joke of the fact that Kenan Thompson has become a well-known name still and is big enough a name that getting him as a big cameo to that point where Kenan Thompson's playing Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell never plays Kel Mitchell. Yeah. They could have easily made that joke and just paid him to take the head off, but still kept the Tebow actor in the suit.
For the rest of the shots, yeah. Like I said, they may have just been like really not on good terms, and they may not have been ready to come back to the network at that point.
Well, Kenan came back, so
yeah, but
Kel,
like I said, maybe they were just separated. They just didn't want to work together, and they came to Kenan first. Who knows?
So, but. This is all undercutting that the panda is spanking people with his tennis racket. This is a high school party.
Yeah.
Even if you're talking about seniors, which gets creepy weird later on, you're still talking about barely legal, and there's a random person. And the fact that Kenan eventually gets hold as a history with this panda makes it weirder.
Yeah.
Why is this person spanking... Whether only half of them were seniors and 18, half of the people you just spanked were not of consenting age, and even then, no one is consenting, and that is creepy.
There's also a stalker and a weird person who broke into this house.
He is also that too.
All right, I'm gonna read through 10 more bullet points real quick. So let me do this, Ed.
All right.
Trina has kids on a leash. Andre keeps getting swatted on the butt again. Sikowitz scares them. Tori pees. iCarly people arrive. They know the makeup is bad suddenly. They split up to search. Sam abuses Freddy joke. Tori and boyfriend are annoying. Gibby and Spencer in the jacuzzi. Robbie ruins the DJ booth, which is a very funny bit. Freestyle raps. Zesty beat. Robbie's hitting the head with a plant. And Rex is also shitty at rapping, but the crowd thinks he's good. And then Sinkwitz's weird dispenser trying to scare Beck.
All right, here's my bullet point notes. Typing warning, delayed joke alert. Jacuzzi, typing warning.
The guys behind you?
Yeah, the typing guy behind you.
A funny bit, honestly. I saw the bit coming a mile away when she started texting him something, but it was still funny that afterwards it played through like normal.
So I wrote that Jacuzzi was clearly because they wanted to get one of the female actors in a bikini.
Probably,
and that was, and honestly, the fact that we did get it made it weirder, and I kind of would have liked if they had hinted, and I would have thought it would have been funnier if they had gone out, seen Spencer and Sikowitz in there, and said, never mind.
Honestly, I forgot to mention, we watched the regular version, the 70-minute version. There is, I think, 10 or 12 minutes of cut scenes. And there's further ones with, Sikowitz, being weird and creepy to Spencer, and there's a bunch of other, funny bits and stuff we could have watched. We should have watched that bit, too. But yeah, there's some bits about Sikowitz being pervy to Spencer, I believe, as well.
He was already enough.
Oh, yeah, there was more than enough.
We got to that later.
It gets weird. It's already weird.
Before we get to Jacuzzi, the teacher has a trumpet and has crashed this party, this high school party with a trumpet to scare students.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We're just going to gloss that one over?
I mentioned Sick was trying to scare them, and Tori mentioned she peed twice because the show's
yes,
pervy.
And I also...
That's some weird perp stuff.
I made a good... again, 2025... Current year, 2025, context matters. But I peed, because it's also an alternate name for the episode.
I'm sure there's an episode named that already because they love doing that shit.
Also, and this was also a weird time thing. So, Tori and Beck leave to the jacuzzi, and then...
Not Tori, Jade.
Jade and Beck, and then Sikowitz talks about Jacuzzi and then follows them.
Jacuzzi, huh?
But spoiler alert, he makes it there before them.
Yeah, they're getting changed. He just gets naked and gets in and hides.
Yes! He is naked.
Oh, Sikowitz, you're the best. Or Sikowitz.
Also, I wrote backward actors awkwardly dancing, quote unquote.
Oh, yeah.
And then they look hideous, haha,
now look at the camera.
Just noticing. If you watch the background actors, they are looking like they're the background of Guitar Hero level fans, where they're doing the same motion awkwardly, you could tell they were fucking fed up with this shooting schedule.
Oh yeah, well, as you know, if you're ever watching anything with a club scene or with music in it diegetically, during the actual shoot there was never any music actually playing. Everyone is just dancing to stomps or like a basic tap 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 to dance because they cannot have music playing while the people are trying to record their lines. So anytime you watch anything with actual music production, it's not actually happening and everyone's dancing to nothing. So just make it extra awkward for you for the rest of your life.
I agree, but also they're later on with Tori's sister.
Yeah.
They are screaming as if they are trying to talk over the music.
Yeah.
And it comes across to the point, like, I can only imagine either A, they are awkwardly yelling over silence, or there actually was something in that moment playing, and they actually, because it's the only scene that had actually stood out to me that they were yelling.
Yeah.
Like,
could have been a Tori
actively.
choice because she's a weird character.
Was Tori, and then what's her sister's name?
Trina.
I feel like that was a Trina choice because Tori's in plenty of scenes and never yells.
Yeah. Also, just watching this one episode mashup thing in context, even here it's very obvious that like Tori has extreme like boring protag disease or writing trope because like she is so barely describable, but like every other character has so many interesting things going on in personality and opinions and everything like that she is just like so generically like whatever except for everyone's talking about how she's including like fucking old people, which is weird, but like everyone else is like Trina's a weird asshole. Jade is like all goth and like
she was over. I did not expect that level of like darkness.
I
knew she had.
She's always like that. If she's not actively trying to like sabotage Tori in a scene and like some kind of thing in school, she's like that. So yeah, Jade's always been like that's her goth thing. That's her like tone or character trait or whatever thing.
You did not come across in his reviews.
And then even though she doesn't talk ever in this whole episode, which is unfortunate, Ariana Grande's gimmick in this is that she's just airy, weird psycho. See, everyone's crazy.
Maybe I mean, obviously, you got bits and pieces of that.
Yeah.
But Jade's darkness did not show up in the other stuff.
Yeah.
I also wrote down that there was a surfboard arcade machine in Keenan's house.
Yeah, I don't think I ever mentioned that thing once except for when Sinjin gets thrown out the window.
Well, so if he didn't live in this house, really, why does he have it? How did he get it?
Set up?
And why is it set up right next to his party club room with his stage in his house? Yeah. Also, they did do the Roger confusion joke. Roger, no, that's me, yes.
Oh, yeah, Roger Mole, yeah.
Roger Mole, which I thought the fact that they were talking about looking for a mole was 1,000% going to play into something.
Yeah, it should have been a gag. Like,
that would have been funny.
Mole, like a creature or something?
No, we just got to give me one-hit KOing somebody.
Yeah, which was very funny with him. He loses the mole, and the guy's like, hey, you're Gibby from iCarly. Hey, man, I'm trying to be secret. I have Gibby from iCarly over here.
Wow. I'm sorry. I think that guy just never shows back up.
He just killed that guy. I thought he stuffed him inside the game machine, and that's why the machine was not working or something. There was nothing.
He chopped his body up and put him in
I
machine.
thought he just shoved him under the machine. I was like, Agent 47, some kid.
How funny would it have been if randomly at one point they like cut upwards and you see this body, like this guy like asleep under the game. That would have actually been hysterical. Yeah. It would have been a little. Like it would have been funny if you had the body, the guy asleep underneath that whole thing, and that's why it stopped working.
Yeah, that would have made more sense than it just insanely broke. And
I also thought the mole was going to show up, and that's why the springs weren't working.
Yeah,
nope, it just wasn't working.
Just random.
I said the kids were talking about having babies. That was weird. This jacuzzi Tori was talking about. If me and my boyfriend had babies, we'd definitely be cuter if it was one of him.
Yeah, all I wrote was Tori and BF are annoying.
So the jacuzzi at the full party was empty.
Yeah.
The terrified children jokes, and then of course the help date stuff. Well, I also wrote Sandberg because there's a Sandberg reference. Yeah, but also do you have some retro music like Spice Girls? Oh, come on now.
Yeah, Spice Girls by that point is already like 20 years old.
Also, you didn't need to say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but also, come on.
How dare you?
Exactly. Because, I mean, really, at this point, are you truly not trying to get the 90s kids to still watch? They were trying to get as many as they could. Because, let's be honest, the way they talked about these characters, they expected the 20-something-year-olds to still be watching for Tori and stuff.
Probably.
They talked as if Tori was the sex icon, even though she was not, should not have been. This was creepy and weird. But also, like, come on. The 20-something-year-olds, we all grew up on Spice Girls, and we know. Though I do agree. Whatever happened to Baby Spice? Let's spend an hour talking about the Spice Girls.
Sure, yeah. Spice Girls, the Spice World is
Let's just
absolutely
do a
wonderful.
Spice Girls episode.
Spice World's awesome.
Spice
I love
World
that movie.
That movie was fucking weird.
Hilarious and insane.
And also Richard O'Brien is in that movie, by the way.
We're back from a food break.
And you never would
back
have
to
known.
Spice Girls.
All right. There's Spice World with Richard O'Brien. No, Robbie. All right. So, yeah, we just ate food, and looking at the time for how long this is taking.
I mean, I'm probably gonna legit cut this into half again, which is ridiculous. That means our podcasts are getting way too overlong, but still.
But I think for completionist's sake here, so we actually address things. I think we need to do this. I think we need to go and we need to not do what the show is doing and jumping back and forth. So we're going to focus right now on the scene that we were just at, which is Robbie takes out the DJ booth, which is ironic, with knowing what the actor does, which is awesome.
Now, awesome-ass DJ.
Yes, doing retro and like nostalgia stuff, which is awesome. It's super cool. And hey, if you ever listen to us somehow talk about this and want us to tell you, I'll watch Victorious and tell you how good you were, if you want. But
he was legit funny.
Yeah.
Because he's a comedian actor in a comedian show, hired because he's funny.
So, they're like, well, this is where them being singers comes into play, sort of, but not even. Because who wants to take the mic? And Robbie's like, I'll do it. Drop me a beat. Hey, put your hands up in the air. Put your hands up. And no one does.
Yeah.
You know what? Kat does.
Yeah, she starts dancing for him because their whole
They have a thing, don't they? They have a ship.
They're on and get off. Yeah, shippiness. Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, he was awkward, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I know.
Like, listen, y'all, you're at a party with nothing, and you're telling me that was not better than nothing and silence?
And in response, he gets hit in the head with a plant, which is very funny.
They never say who threw it, do they?
No.
Which also, I thought, again, with Roger Mole looking for his mole, and then a plant. He got hit with a plant. I thought for sure they were going to do something with that.
That would be too clever for this show.
Clearly.
Animal at some point. No.
So Rex then, of course, is like, oh yeah, just drop me a beat, y'all. And this has probably got to be one of the whitest scenes I have ever seen.
It's incredibly shitty.
Because Rex is rapping, which, by the way, if we hadn't mentioned, I don't know what, at this point, I don't know what we've talked about on or off camera in between, like, the breaks here that happened. I mean, not at all between the breaks, But, so Rex is voiced not by Matt Bennett, right?
Yeah, Matt Bennett.
Not by Matt Bennett. He's voiced by one of, like, the writers or something for the show. And he is clearly putting on a black voice.
Yeah,
and this is
the Urban Puppet a couple times.
You're right, which it is a very pale puppet comparatively.
Yeah.
And also, the writer is not black. Yeah. It is a white man doing a black. It is black voice.
Yeah, a weird black accent. Yeah.
It's definitely, but it's not like that. And I'm not going to do an imitation because that'd be terrible to do. But it's not like that over-the-top hard stereotype. But it's enough where you're like, oh, you're trying to tastefully do black voice.
It's bad, regardless.
It is. So Rex raps, and it's just about the same as Robbie. But apparently it's incredible.
Yeah, everyone thinks he's good for some reason, even though he's equally shitty.
I don't get it. Also, I have so many notes that I have to cut through here. Oh my gosh.
We have a shit ton of scenes left. Do you know what is going on?
How many note pages? Okay, I have...
A lot happens in this. Like I said, it's simple, but a lot happens.
Okay, so... hold on.
And I'm going to go through my notes. All right, so after the...
oh boy.
Robbie hit with a plant... All right, Rex is shitty and everyone thinks he's good. Sikowitz is weird with Spencer trying to scare Becky hops out of the water.
Well, you have that. I thought we were going to save in the one scene.
I mean, that's just a series of unrelated rap battles after the mic goes out.
He's a true rap battle.
Yeah, he raps against two random kids. I didn't write down any of the lyrics because I don't want to think about them.
Was there two kids? I thought it was only the one kid.
I think it was, just the one other kid he rapped against. And then at the end, Sam beats him in a rap battle, which is also shitty.
Which...
Equally bad.
It is equally bad. But I remember writing this down because, and I'm not going to say that I'm some kind of great rapper or anything, just because my name, Check D, came from when Uncle Matt and Check D were, busting out the rhymes and all that.
About around the time this show came out.
I wrote, this rapping plot line is so white. But also, so Rex, because it's a rap battle apparently, and Sam's like, oh, get out, whatever. So Rex gets the first verse, because apparently that's how it goes. Mm-hmm. And also, I mean, it's straight up misogyny. but it's also like
Yeah,
the
Rex
most
is really sexist for some
the
reason.
most stereotypical. It's like, you can't rap because you're a chick. You should stay to shopping or whatever. And then Sam is, I mean, it's the same level, but it's not a puppet doing it, and we're clearly supposed to think because Sam's a badass and always wins fights. And of course Rex is like, oh yeah, I definitely was wrong about you. It's like, okay, you set a very high bar and she surpassed it, so now you're showing her respect.
Yeah.
Like, I think about Rex in context of those interview clips that happened.
Yeah.
And everything, and it makes sense. But also, like, how does anyone like Rex? Robbie is no problem. Like, because Rex is nebulously detached from Robbie.
I guess because the bit is that people just like Rex.
But like,
he sucks.
Because I think at one
rude.
point even it's like, I get 14 followers. You had 13 followers. He's like, I have 14.
Yeah.
Rex's like, I unfollowed you.
Yeah.
What?
Just Rex being a dick.
Jeez. So yeah, like, I don't understand how anyone have thought that this was entertainment. Like, and most people should have been like, look at him being able to rap without his mouth moving. How incredible.
Rex is alive. Everyone knows that.
Do they though?
I mean,
Because everyone blames Robbie for everything Rex does.
Only when
But
it's funny.
But then gives Rex credit
Because
for
Rex
everything.
Rex does a bunch of weird stuff by himself somehow.
I don't get it. See, I just want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about the jacuzzi scene because it's weird. It's so weird.
We just talk about the dumb actual plot of the A plot allegedly with Carly's stupid boyfriend.
Sure.
Carly meets the boyfriend. She puts on a British accent because she has her disgusting makeup still on.
Yep.
Then we see the boyfriend go past her and give Tori the same bracelet and tell her the same line about how you're one of a kind or whatever.
Which is so, like, that's such a cliche. That's such a boring cliche. Like, the exact same gift with the exact same line.
Yeah.
Well, they did subvert it because eventually when they meet and he gets found out, it was engraved to Carly and to Topi.
Yeah, Topi. She misspelled her name. Freddie wants to beat the guy up, but they say no, he'll beat you up, Freddie. Even though Freddie's pretty big at this point.
Okay, yes, I wrote that down. That actor was, like, even size-wise, like, taking that out.
Yeah.
He had some bulk to him.
I mean, later he in Sam and Cat he beats up Robbie. So.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah. Oh, hey, rewatch the Quentin review on Sam and Cat. It's a bit where like Robbie tries to punch him and his like hand practically breaks on what's his name's chest.
Oh,
Freddie.
see, but is that Freddie being tough or Robbie being weak?
I mean both, but like he is a huge dude. Not physically, he's short, but he's like a stocky, muscular person.
He's a very muscular looking guy at this point, and they're like, "You're a nerd." Like, okay, yes, but also just look at him. Like, even if he could have said, they should have been the line, "You had no experience. Let Sam do it."
Yeah, but still, we're so close to the end. Not really. Carly meets with Topi, and they confirm about the dumb bracelet. Sickwitz and the gang are still in the hot tub. We're intercutting these, of course, all these dumb scenes. Sickwitz tries to scare them. It doesn't work on Beck again, so they're all just chilling in the hot tub.
Well, hold on. You
What?
forgot, if we're talking about the jacuzzi scene, you forgot the first time. So Spencer and Gibby walk outside.
Yeah.
Gibby realizes his mole has fallen off.
Uh-huh.
But mentions before that to Spencer, usually hot water is good for, the
back.
fact that you're not feeling good. Because, oh yeah, we forgot to mention that, again, he needed his back creamed and
Yeah.
asked a child.
Yeah.
So
Heads of a goddess.
so he gets in the hot tub, which he's naked, right?
Yeah. Presumably he didn't bring clothes like Jade did.
Right. He didn't know he was going to be a jacuzzi here or get in the hot tub. He was surprised. And there's also a very long amount of time. Like, we're going to take...
There's like 2 whole seasons where Sickwitz is seemingly hiding in this water and not coming out yet. So
yes.
He's been underwater for like
Hours?
several minutes at least.
Hours?
Yeah, hours maybe.
There's no time. Hours. So Spencer's in and relaxing, and Psycho just leaps out of the water and literally scares Spencer to the point where he's like, I feel like he can't talk, and damn near is like, I'm pretty sure I just died. And Psycho was just casually, I'm trying to scare my student. Here's them. Don't say anything. And then while he's
Slowly goes under like he's about to blow him.
yes, and Spencer's face, he doesn't move, and he's like, he looks like there's something happening under the water.
It's just me in here, nobody else. And there's like, okay.
And also too, these are 2 not adults with an adult who is implied to be, if not naked, and probably Like, I don't know if they ever showed Spencer in his underwear, because I doubt they would.
Probably not.
But I feel like if they did ever make the joke, he wore whitey tighties, right?
Yeah, tidy whities.
And Psychowitz is the kind of person who definitely is wearing
Yeah, he's
them.
definitely freeballing it.
So, I agree. He's freeballing. So that is two naked people with children in this hot tub.
I mean, it's going to get worse in a second.
Which part?
Because if we're sticking with the hot tub sequence, later, they're still sitting in the hot tub. Beck and Jade and Psychowitz, and the other one. But there's two little children in the pool.
Oh, yes!
Later on.
There are two children with these
And
two
Psychowitz turns to Jeremy Train and just like, do you see those two little kids too? And he's just like, yeah. And he's like, fantastic.
So he's on drugs, right?
He's always on drugs.
That was confirmed.
That was the whole reason that Trina got into the school, remember? Because he was like high on expired coconut milk. And
That's
he's just
right.
like, this coconut milk's making me see things. Oh, yeah. And like, he sees Trina being great and he gets her into the school.
But also, does he have that much pull? Apparently, he's the only teacher.
I mean, the others all had to run and save Sinjin because he got his head stuck or something. That was the whole bit.
No, Sinjin. Wait.
Sinjin's like the other kid with the glasses and the long hair.
In the Trina scene. Okay.
So yeah, there was a whole sequence with Sigwitz being drunk and or high as usual, and chilling in the tub with these two students of his and two small children and Jeremy Trainer who he doesn't, or Spencer who he doesn't even know.
Yeah, it was weird. And then later on when Sinjin gets Sinjin is on the weird surfboard arcade game, and the spring's not working. He's on expert mode. He's doing great until it stops, literally shuts off, and flings him out of the window into the jacuzzi.
Yeah.
I don't know how he straight up looks like he's dead.
Yeah, it looks like he's...
And they're like, Sinjin, we're in the middle of a game.
What the hell are they playing?
And that's the end of that plot line, isn't it?
That's the end of that plot line, yeah.
Because Beck doesn't ever get scared. Because
No, he never get that entire like C plot never gets resolved in the slightest.
C plot, D plot, E plot. What do you call it?
This is like the fucking 20. The ones with him not being scared is like not even on the map anymore.
Well, it's the only reason why Psychowitz is here. So
yeah, actually, yeah. So probably I'd say that's the B plot. No, because the B would be like this. A is we're breaking this down now at this mark of the podcast at 3.5 hours in. A is the stupid relationship between Tori and Carly and this dumb guy whose name I never wrote down.
Steven.
And then B would be the Kenan Thompson's house shit. And then C would be, I guess, the Tori can't act because she can't be scared with Beck. You know, she's fine with being scared, but Beck can't be scared.
Yeah, Tori literally IP'd, which is why we had to take a second break there, was because my son had his own episode of IP'd.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. And dating.
And so, yeah, this plot now is about this silly-ass game, whatever they're playing in the hot tub. Anyway.
So, I did make a joke, by the way, about the Topi thing. I said, there's a third girl named Topi.
Yeah.
Again, I thought that would be a thing where there's girls like, Steven... I thought you were going to get me something for my birthday.
This is Tori.
Topi never wins. And it could have just been Tori with the
that
weird
would require
makeup.
too much effort on this show. They very much obviously didn't care. And at some point during all these sequences of back and forth, Kenan Thompson shows up at the party with a stuffed giraffe out of nowhere.
Why the giraffe?
I don't know, just a weird
visual
gag.
Because he has Andre kiss the giraffe to feel better.
It's just a visual gag. And then what the hell?
That's where he says, "Oh, a party. It's less than 500 people.
It's a small party. I said you could have a small party, but this isn't a small party. This is only 200 people. The small party is like 300-400 people."
But then, of course, that's where we find out that the
panda's been stalking him from house to house.
Yep. So literally, Andre and Kenan's whole bit is trying to hunt down this panda.
Yeah.
With occasional break to help on the A plot of Tori and Carly getting back at their boyfriend, ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the second that the two of them met, and the second that he knew that they met, he knew it was over, right? He's not that dumb.
I don't know.
He's dumb.
I don't know, nor do I care about that goofball plot.
So,
so they say we're gonna prank him on live TV to 1 million viewers just to really humiliate this piece of crap for being a cheater and a liar. And so they trick him into a room with the 100-day kiss. And then, of course, Kenan just blows a trumpet in his face, and 1 million people online see this guy be exposed as cheating on this internet celebrity and this young actress, I guess, because she doesn't have a recording contract by this point, probably.
Well, she does
in the actual universe. Eventually, she does have an actual musical recording contract.
She gets that really big break at one point.
Season 2 or 3, though. I think it might be the end.
It was the second to last season where that happened. Because the last
so that's
season,
3 then. This is 2.
But in theory, eventually, yes, at the time it was just, I mean, Carly would be the biggest, but eventually now he's going to be known as the guy who cheated on iCarly, the biggest internet star, and then this brand new pop star, Victoria Justice.
Yep.
Like, that's just life. And they are laughing at him. They call him a chizzy-wizzy scumbag.
Skunk bag.
Skunk bag.
Yeah. Already bitten the Quentin thing. And then they all have a big giant... all the other plots like...
Random humiliation!
Yeah, that was funny. St. John's dead. The rap battle's over. Rex lost. He's not sexist anymore. And then they have a big old singing match. Ariana Grande realizes she can sing, and so she decides to sing the theme song of both shows.
Well, Carly starts singing first.
Yeah.
What song should I do? And the DJ goes, I know one. Everyone will know. Cut to the opening line of that. Then it just mixes into... I don't even know the Victoria Justice one.
It's both of their theme.
Well, no, that's... I do...
Yeah, I don't know what the name of their song is.
I don't know. I can't say that I do recall somewhat the iCarly one.
Oh, I don't recall either of them. Like I said, I never watched it. I was already out of this point. But yeah, and then the end credit scene, which could have been anything on the planet, is just a recap of the song playing again, which is lame and boring. But anyway, that is this movie finally. There was approximately... There was a couple of humorous jokes.
I did make a running joke in my notes around here of lines that... Because I'll say this before I even say it. So watching this as an adult is not easy.
Nope.
I get why Quentin was tired. So... Tough nut to crack, Psychowitz says to Beck. You're a tough nut to crack. This sounds like it should be sexual.
I mean, if you have that bit, you should have the earlier one in the club when she was like, "Well, Beck was good," and he's like, "Oh, Jade, you're a sour taste, aren't you?"
Yes, that one.
Such a creep.
I don't even know what this was refers to, but nutball sounds like it should be sexual. They move their disguises. When Sam learns of Tori being with Steven and him cheating, and Tori shows up in their little powwow or whatever, Sam's like, do you want me to knuckle down on this chick? I'm like, knuckle down on a chick? That sounds like it should be a sexual thing.
Yeah, it probably is.
When they talk about pranking Steven on the internet and all their millions of people, they said, oh yeah, we'll yank his pants down and get some hot sauce. That sounds like it should be sexual.
I wrote Sam threatens to assault Steven for revenge.
So, it's like, you came here for a 100-year kiss, and he goes, but I blew a trumpet in his face. And I'm like, I blew a trumpet in his face. It sounds like it should be sexual. Is that the last one? Nope, I have more. I have more of them. What is it? I don't even remember why they bring up tweenpants.com.
She's making fun of Psychowitz, and she said,
"No, Sam's
making fun of Psychowitz specifically." She said, "Where'd you get your pants, tween?"
No, it was Rex.
No, she's talking to Psychowitz at that time because he's like literally talking to him about his weird pants that he's wearing. She's talking about his outfit. It's really bizarre.
I thought that was towards Rex and the
It would
rap
make
battle.
sense, but she's like rapping at random people, including Psycho, which would make no sense.
Yeah, tweenpants.com sounds like it has sexual stuff on it. So yeah, I thought there was more of that. Also, we forgot to mention that the Dan Schneider credit popped up over Carly and Victoria Justice arm in arm, and because they, of course, on one side you have the iCarly crowd singing their theme, and then the Victoria's crowd on the other side, and then near the end they come together.
Yeah.
And then executive producers Dan Schneider.
I'm scared.
Literally.
That is the end of this weird little movie.
We did forget to mention too that Keenan's whole bit near the end with Andre is hunting down this panda.
Yeah,
that's where the all that joke comes.
Never
from.
resolved. Also,
so which it should have much have been. They make the Andy Sandberg joke at one point. Yep. Okay. So the only real scene in that end shot, by the way, the last thing I had to point out is Kenan Thompson in the middle of the song comes in with like a line. And that was like the only real singing you could tell. Mm-hmm. Like, and granted, you hear Ariana's voice, which means that it was mixed that way. Yet they don't give her any speaking lines, but they give her like priority on vocals.
So weird. It's the
most
bizarre
really
thing on
weird.
the planet. But yeah, that was the end of that, and then almost immediately forgot everything that happened in this because it was basically a weird episode of TV and barely not even a movie.
It really was.
I'm gonna speed through my ranking because this is already way too long. Freddy Got Fingered, perfect. Willy's Wonderland, Road Trip, Freddy vs. Jason, Digimon, Star Wars 3, Warcraft, X-Men Apocalypse, Justice League Snyder Cut, Transformers Extinction, Troll 2, Fantasy Island. And here's where I put iParty with Victorious at number 12 out of 19. And the reason I put it at this spot specifically, between Troll 2 / Fantasy Island, and Percy Jackson Lightning Thief, which is number 13, is because Troll 2 is, like we've said many times, deadly boring unless you're watching it with friends and or beverages and alcohol.
Yep.
Percy Jackson was a lazy insult to the Incredible book series, but not a horrible movie.
It was an adaptation that was
not
great, but
it was an underwhelming adaptation.
It wasn't that movie bad.
This movie was completely fine. Like I said, compared to Fantasy Island and Troll 2, which were of a higher quality, and like I said, the little trio of shitty CGI filled action movies I like, X-Men, Justice League, and Transformers. The iParty of Victorious was it was whatever. Like this is like the dividing line between things I liked and things that I start actually actively hating
Andy
past
Dalton.
this.
It is the Andy Dalton movie right
now.
Yeah. I think we found our true Andy Dalton movie here.
It exists.
Ironically
I guess.
at 12, but
yeah, this is gonna be the dividing line between things I can justify enjoying and shit that I don't want to ever watch again. It wasn't offensive. It wasn't particularly bad. It was just a mediocre piece of tween sitcom from 15 years ago that I was like, okay, well, I watched that now, experienced it, and now I'll probably immediately forget everything that happened in it, and I'll forget it's on this list every time we do a recap.
That's fair.
Here we go.
All right. You want to do the end?
My last one. Yeah, let me do my
So-
after that. I believe, finished up. 13, Percy Jackson. 14, Banana Splits the Hug. 15, Resident Evil. 16, Monster Hunter. 17, Terror Tiny Town. 18, Bad Taste, and 19, of course, always the worst thing ever, on its own merit, The Last Airbender.
So, all right. So, mine, going down the list here. Freddy Got Fingered, number 1, as always, best film. Number 2, Road Trip, because, as I always say, surprise me. 3, Willy's Wonderland. Silent Nick Cage is awesome. Number 4, Freddy vs. Jason. Horror icons hamming it up like motherfuckers. Number 5, Warcraft, because they're orcs. Number 6, Star Wars Episode 3. It could have been worse. It's not the worst ROTS movie, Star Wars movie. 7, Fantasy Island, which went, as I always point out, went up because I was able to watch it without my wife knowing I had watched it, and I got to say a line I will probably never be able to say, which was, well, that was even better the second time I watched it, and catch her off guard. And that was fun. 8 was Digimon the movie. It's a bit nostalgia, and also, as weird as it was entertaining and visually stimulating. Number 9, Bad Taste, because I enjoy the schlock and Derek. Number 10, Troll 2, because, as you say, with friends, it's entertaining. On its own, it's rough. Mm-hmm. Number 11, Banana Splits. Kind of where I said last time, it's not a movie that I think it could be better, but I think that it's as good as it could have been, and I appreciate it and all that. And ironically, the same number 12 for me now is iParty with Victorious.
Yeah.
It is a middling movie. It is forgettable. It is weird. It is funny, but also uncomfortable. I enjoy it. I remember better things, and I... Basically, as I placed it on this list, I looked and I said, do I think it's better than this? No. Do I think it's better than this? Yes. And I went through, and that kind of it literally is a middling Andy Dalton film. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to take that and turn that into a...
That's going to be this guy's first for the podcast?
Listen, if you want to come on and join our podcast, Andy Dalton, you can be our third member.
Oh, that's going to be fourth after friend of the podcast, Chris Bow.
Well, he's the friend of the podcast, Chris Bow. And Dalton would be our new co-host or tri-host. I don't know. Anyway, 13, Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief. I wrote Lightning Head.
Lightning Head? Alcohol's really hitting at this point.
I hadn't had a drink when I wrote that down either. But it was, I agree, it was... that was a film that was good on its own merit, but bad on the merit of what it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. We're gonna turn your phrase, friend of podcast, Chris Bow, into a thing. 14 was Terror of Tiny Town, because number 15 was X-Men Apocalypse. I hate that movie, but not as much as Terror of Tiny Town. 16 was Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse, which was only the second worst Paul W.S. Anderson film starring his wife on my list. 17 was The Last Airbender, a movie that I hate that exists, but at least I can find brief, funny moments and a few things here and there. But it's terrible even on its own merit. 18 was the Justice League Snyder Cut. Fuck you for making me watch that. Number 19, Transformers: Age of Extinction. Fuck you for making me watch that one too. That one was boring and had nothing happening and was also visually dull.
Oh yeah.
And confusing. 20 still, and I feel weird because I defended it so much in it, and I did what I normally surprisingly don't do. Spoiler alert: is I listened to my podcast and us. And again, I remembered I had the same thing when I watched the movie where I listened to us and I said, well, the first part I said, wow, we called a lot. Like nocellas being different sizes. Yeah, we recorded that before Monster Hunter Wilds came out. Mm-hmm. That is now a thing. The Ancients having like weird control and being like insanely relevant to the world.
If that was a Guardian Rathalos, that would justify why it was so strong. But it didn't do the crazy fucking milk cum thing everywhere, so it doesn't count. Wyvern milk.
Yeah, we are going to have. So I thought about it, and I think we genuinely, and it will be a bonus episode at some point. I think we do the Legends of the Guardian of the Legends or the Netflix movie.
Legend of the Guild.
Legends of the Guild. I think we do that as a bonus.
We might do it over on Action Toon Bros. Technically, since it's a CG thing, you can join us on that.
There you go.
We can get more Ben opinions.
So we have to make sure that I'm there live because I can't just record a thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I will record 12 hours if you don't have someone to stop me and interrupt me.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
But listening back at the episode, it was fun to hear the things that we talked about and were right about, and also I went through the same stages as I did when I watched the movie and during the podcast, where I defended it for quite a while, and then I hit the point where I said, fuck this. And I have more to say still about Monster Hunter.
Like I said, we can do corrections and omissions like some podcasts do if you would do a little bonus bit. Or wait till we do Legends of the Guild someday as a special bonus for Action Toon Bros.
I mean, I think that we could do both. I mean, to be fair, you and Ben did Rise of the Skywalker without me, and that was a movie that you did on your shows, so I think we can get away with doing one show.
It's not even a cartoon show, so sure, yeah.
Exactly. It's not a cartoon show. And you also did that one without me, so I'm owed at least one, and I might cash in to talk about Monster Hunter for another 12 hours.
Yeah, why not? Monster Hunter's always worth it.
It really is. But yeah, I have more to say about Monster Hunter still than I do about this movie. I give more about this
movie. This episode was at 3 hours and 40 minutes somehow.
Mostly
just nostalgia for Nickelodeon.
Yeah, and it felt just. I mean, I feel like our episode here is a perfect representation of this movie. Disjointed and all over the place and random, and there's random cuts.
Random humiliation.
Yeah, but like it was just rough. It was rough,
yeah.
And I didn't hate it, and it was over quick.
Yeah, it was fine. I had no real strong
emotions. It was
emotions
like sex with me.
Yeah, like no real strong emotions in any direction. That's how I feel every day.
So, do you want to do your plugs, or do we do the first movie?
Sure. Well, remember we always do the plugs before the next time.
Right. So you do your plugs, and then I do my plugs, and then I'll tell you the next movie.
Of course.
So.
All right, Action Toon Bros. We mentioned a couple times. Listen to my equally long podcast series about different episodes of TV shows, animated ones that have action, obviously. Listen to old episodes of Movie Garbage on this. Our Monster Hunter 3-parter. By the time we're recording this, I'm probably going to post it sometime around the week we record this, so soon. And then, of course, Forgotten Minotaur King. Go buy my book. Listen to the podcast. Follow us over on everything at Methulus Podcasts on Blue Sky, on Patreon, on YouTube, on Twitch. Methulus Podcasts, follow all those. Still other projects in the works, but I'm also very lazy. Who knows? Maybe someday a One Piece podcast. Maybe someday that gaming podcast with Chris,
friend of the podcast,
Bo.
I mean, it will be introduced as friend of podcast Chris Bo, right?
Yeah, that's what the podcast is going to be called.
I mean, if he
with
doesn't,
Matthew and friend of the podcast Chris Bo,
which I feel like even if he doesn't say it, you just have to go in and edit one of you, like
I said, people don't know. I whenever someone says offhandedly, "Hey, why don't you do this dumb edit bit?" I will do that bit, and I will. And people, if you listen, you'll see.
Yeah, we definitely that has to be edited, and every time he says his name is friend of the podcast Chris Bo.
Yeah,
every time, and it's not always him saying it.
That is all me for now.
So, I'm mostly only really found, because I haven't set Blue Sky up, on Twitch at father_bohawk. I do have YouTube as well under that name, which hasn't posted anything in a while, and I have 2 runs. I still have my bug diamond locked and my black fire lock that I'll eventually get up. But I'm still streaming my White 2 Kaizo. I'm at run 81 at the moment, getting ready for Berg. And by the time I listen to this and it's out, I'll probably be on several runs later. Or I'll beaten it, maybe. But yeah, I'll probably be on run like 100 at that point. So, but yeah, I stream there, not really great. You can hear the children in the background. They make scheduling things harder. And everything. And honestly, we've been recording for almost 4 hours, but we've been trying to do this for like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
We started around like 4 o'clock.
I got here at like 1:30.
And
now it's 9:30.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take 70 minutes out to watch the movie.
Yeah, 70 minutes for the movie, about like 2 or 3 hours for the Magic the Gathering game, and then recording this now to 4 hours almost.
It's been a lot. No, we did, the game maybe lasted an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We just had that many cuts in this because I love my children. They don't understand the sanctity of podcast recording yet.
Hey man, let them do what they're doing. This podcasting is my stimming.
There we go.
Chatting with my friends for 4 hours about shows from 20 years ago.
I mean, we sure did that. So, but yeah, follow me on Twitch. Watch me on Twitch. I have lots of fun, and I like conversations when I'm not just talking into a blank void about math. Pokemon math. So... as you mentioned, we've just passed our 5-year, but next episode is our 20th film, since we have splits or multiple parts of our Monster Hunter ones, but it is our 20th film, again, also despite our counts. So I was thinking about it, and I put down a lot of interesting films, and there were some good choices, but I could not decide, and I had my wife help me decide in the final one. And I feel like it is a perfect representation because it's actually a film that I think could branch both a conversation about the person / company that made it, as well as a topical thing somewhat about it. So, you can rent it on Amazon for $4, or you can subscribe on Hulu and watch it. I'm looking at, I believe it was a 2009. I don't know the exact year, maybe 2011, but it is the official downfall of the Adam Sandler film franchise.
Oh God! Oh no!
The Dunkachino having
my
film.
God!
A film which I once described in the middle of it at a pause screen, which read in the captions, continuous loud fart noises.
Oh God.
Jack and Jill.
Jesus Christ.
Not only can we discuss Adam Sandler and the Happy Madison of comedies, but I do think that there's an actual and ironically 2025 topical argument to be had about drag in film, both men playing characters that are supposed to be women, like similar to Hairspray or Big Mama's House in Orbit, or films where men are pretending to be women in drag, such as, I think, Tootsie, I'm assuming, Some Like It Hot, and I'm pretty sure Mrs. Doubtfire, and I'm pretty sure Glenn or Glenda, which I think is actually a film you should probably try and watch on Tubi, because I would assume, and I have not seen that, but I have a strong feeling that there are parts of this film that, whether intentional or not, have Glenda or Glenda vibes. So I'm interested to see that. But Jack and Jill, a film that I think is both the quintessential Adam Sandler film, and also a film that is, I feel like it's a good special 20th episode. It's fun and painful at the same time.
You've been threatening it for a while. If you remember all the way back to our Justice League episode, when you brought it up, I immediately did the entire beginning to end Dunkachino song, because I do know that song from the old Twitter account, Dunkachino, where every single day they would post a different edit. And I once sat in my bed on the website formerly known as Twitter that no one goes to anymore. I scrolled
Unless you're a
through
Nazi.
that. Yeah, unless you're a shithead, Nazi. I scrolled through that account for approximately like an hour or so, just watching different insane edits of that. And then when I walked out of my room and I tried to describe it to my sister, I literally couldn't breathe because I was laughing so hard. I literally was choking because I was trying to describe Dunkaccino to her. Neither of us having ever seen a second of this film.
Have you ever seen that movie since?
If that account is still active, or if they hopefully because they got off of Twitter pretty quickly. They might have like a new X thing, so hopefully I'll be able to post a link to that actual thread. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to.
Have you seen the film itself?
No, I've never seen a second of it.
So that's going to be interesting to see because I have. It's been a while. And like I said, it is a film I think is hysterical and painful at the same time.
Makes sense.
My son is now crawling on me.
Dunkaccino, Brian, say Dunkaccino for the mic.
Say Dunkaccino. Say Dunkaccino?
Mm-hmm.
Say it.
No.
You don't want to say Dunkaccino? Okay.
But what's this trash for?
That was my food that helped me get through the end of this episode.
What was the food?
It was a burrito.
Yeah. We're stretching out this just so we can make it to 3 hours and 50 minutes.
So, all right. So, be sure to go stop by your local Dunkin' Donuts and ask for the Al Dunkaccino.
I will get a Dunkaccino for the episode, and I will do the whole song at least twice.
Only twice?
I mean, probably more, whatever. Well, I'll do it at the beginning of the episode, when the scene actually comes up, which is near the end, and then at the end of the episode of the podcast.
Well, I mean,
mark
I feel
my
like
words.
Anytime that we mentioned him, that needs to be the bit.
You're gonna, yeah, dude. If you trick,
Even worst case,
I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna link the Dunkaccino
Look at me.
list
Yeah,
on the
I see
website,
you, bud.
and it's the funniest thing you'll ever watch on the planet. Trust
you
me.
know, I say this. Then I think this is what we got to do. Anytime we reference Al Pacino in the episode, you need to record we need to record
Oh, yeah,
us
I'll edit
singing.
myself in singing the entire Dunkaccino thing.
But I think we gotta slowly like warp it, so it starts off with us singing it normal, and over time it just gets more and more like dark. So like at the very end, it's just singing us like it's a horror film.
Attica hua, latte lights. This whole trial is out of sight. They'll pull me back in with hazelnut too. Caramel swirl. I know it was you.
I know it was you.
Can't get enough of my Dunkaccino. Kids from 7 to 17 lining up for my Dunkaccino. What's my name? Dunkaccino. Dunkaccino. We'll do it again next time.
Until that time, you want to say it with us, Brian? We're gonna say oof magoof. You ready? You don't have to if you don't want. It's okay. Because Matt and I are until we get to enjoy Jack and Jill. We say oof my Dunkaccino.
Dunkaccini.
Career's Gambit.
Ugh.